Shalom. We're back with another video. So before I get started, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash, to the apostles and elder bishop of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. We're here with a lesson I'm going to call The Greed of Babylon the Great. So we're going to start with this article from the Los Angeles Times, written by Patrick J. McDonald, Anna Selbios, Kate Litcham 3 days ago. We want it back. Trump assert U.S. claim to Venezuelan oil and land. President Trump ordered a partial blockade on oil tankers going to and from Venezuela, and his claim that Cascadas stole oil, land, and other assets from the United States marked a significant escalation of Washington's unrelenting campaign against the government of President Nicolas Maduro. Asked about Venezuela on Wednesday, Trump said the United States will be getting land, all rights, and whatever we want. We want it back, he said without further elaboration. It was unclear whether Trump planned to say more about Venezuela in a televised address to the nation later Wednesday night, which we know the United States never owned Venezuela, but hey, you know how Edom is. The blockade, which aims to cripple the key component of Venezuela's faltering oil-dependent economy, comes as Trump administration has bolstered military forces in the Caribbean, blown up more than 24 boats allegedly ferrying illicit drugs in both Caribbean and the Pacific, and threatening military strikes on Venezuela and neighboring Colombia. The wicked of this place, man. Venezuela is completely surrounded. Now, we know that's a lie because Venezuela is not an island, so it can't be completely surrounded by the blockade. By the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America, Trump said in a rumbling post Tuesday night on social media site, it will only get bigger and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Not long after Trump announced the blockade Tuesday night, the government of Venezuela denounced the move and his other effort as an attempt to rob the riches that belong to our people. And that's America in a whole, man. We ain't got to go no further. That is Babylon the Great in a whole. Since its inception, that's all it has been doing, robbing riches. From whether it was the people here, the people they stole from one land and brought to another, and every time they try to build themselves up, murdered them and stole their riches, or the occupations that United States have all over the world. Oil, resources, minerals is one of the chief things that the United States hold dear, and whenever they have business practices, try to get from other nations. So them trying to take the oil from Venezuela was nothing surprising. But as I looked at it and thought about what was going on in the world, the spirit came on me to check something. And we're going to go to that because I was like, since the United States is into it big with Russia and China, how does Venezuelan oil affect these two? So I asked the question to the AI. Is Russia and China major users of Venezuelan oil? The AI overview says China is by far Venezuela's largest oil customer, taking the vast majority of its exports, while Russia is a key partner in challenging U.S. sanctions and deals with Venezuela, though not a primary end user of Venezuelan oil in the same massive way China is, but is rather a fellow sanctioned nation helping circumvent restrictions and provide alternative market. Venezuela uses ghost ship and digital payments to sell heavy discounted oil mainly to China, to Chinese independent refineries to prop up its economy despite the U.S. sanctions. So the United States already understand that, hey, even though we putting sanction on these people, it's not working because they working with Russia and China. So that shows you that they understand to weaken at least China, if they take away the Venezuelan oil, it'll be killing two birds with one stone. Not only will they be getting more resources, more minerals, and more goods out of Venezuela, but they will also be weakening one of their biggest competitors. So we're going to go down a little bit. It says China's role, primary destination. China has consistently been the largest buyer, absorbing 55% to over 80% of Venezuelan monthly oil export, depending on oil. Sanction invasion. The sales happen through complex, often opaque deals with oil moving on old tankers that hide its origin to avoid U.S. sanctions. Economic lifeline. China provides crucial revenue for Venezuelan government, which relies on oil income. See? So them having that armada out there trying to slow down those ships is trying to put a hindrance to China. Because Venezuela, as they said, even in the article, depend on their oil export. But even more so, China depend on that same oil export that they're getting from Venezuela. So that's why I said, if you can stop one, you can stifle the other. All right, Russia's role, political backing. Russia is a strong political supporter of Venezuela, bolstering the Maduro government. Sanction partners. Both countries are under U.S. sanctions, and their corporations help them both circumvent Western restrictions, with China buying from both Russia and Venezuela. With you getting it from two places, you won't put a heavy burden on one. Not a major backer. While Russia is a major oil export itself, it is noted as a massive user of It is not noted as a massive user or importer of Venezuela crude. Its relationship is more strategic and challenging the U.S.-led system, with China acting as the main buyer from both sanctioned nations. So even though the oil situation won't be a big problem from Russia, but Russia and China is in it together with the BRICS nation. So it will be in Russia's favor to actually protect Venezuela, because it can also damage China if that Venezuela oil ever get taken over by the U.S. Matter of fact, let's try one more thing, because I think I might be missing something. I just want to check something right now. What other BRICS nation is a user of Venezuelan oil? Oh, crap. Let's see. Salaki. Nation is a user of. Let's see. Besides China, another major BRICS buyer of Venezuelan oil is India, and both nations facilitating sales despite U.S. sanctions. See? So, look at this. If the American government can get their hand on the Venezuelan oils, their minerals, their land, they can really put a hurting on at least two of the major nations that are in the BRICS, while themselves becoming richer with the oil deposits and the goods and minerals that come out of Venezuela. So like I said, it's really two birds with one stone. But mostly this comes from the greed of the United States of America, which has always been a greedy place, which always tried to take other people's land and resources. I mean, look at the backdoor deal that they did with with Ukraine. For life, Ukraine gotta pay the American gotta get an American lease. I think it was half of their goods exports, mineral rights, oil, things like that. So this place has always been a greedy country. It's always been led by that sense of I want more, which we're gonna start here in Proverbs 15:27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hated gift shall live. And that's Babylon the Great, especially the president DJ Trump. They're greedy in their gain, which this greed will end up troubling America even more so because it put America in fights with other countries that it really can't really fight at the moment, and it really don't need to be fighting. As we just seen, at least two of the major BRICS nations use that oil from Venezuela, and another one is partnering with them politically. So you got three major countries who have nuclear weapons, and you're trying to start a fight with a smaller country who's friends with them, which will bring more trouble to the United States. Remember, when he was campaigning, one of his biggest things was, I will not bring wars to the doorsteps of the U.S., but yet through his greed, through the greed of America, and them trying to sanction and blockade and take the rights, the oil rights and the land and all the other things from Venezuela, is bringing trouble to the doorstep of America. That's why I got this scripture that said, he that is greedy of gain trouble his own house. Right now, Trump is putting more trouble on America with his already failing economy, with high prices of everything, with the inward fighting, with the civil war that's down there on the brink. He's bringing even more trouble that the United States really don't need at this moment. All right, we're going to go here. Micah 2, verses 1 and 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And we see America, led by Donald Trump, is practicing that evil. Why? Because the power was given into their hands. Job 9:24. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gave the wicked power, and especially Babylon the Great. So he's using that power to practice and devise wickedness, trying to say that Venezuela need to give the U.S. its oil rights. It need to give them their land back, which they never owned it. But it shows you when you slacking, it shows you how long the U.S. has been running the world, to the point to where Trump feel like he could demand people things and nothing should be said about it. And if they don't give it to him, he have all right to bomb them to hell. But before we go, we're going to get that word. We're going to look up that word, woe. Woe. Great sorrow or distress, often used hyperbolically. Then we're going to go down here. What is the Bible definition of woe? Woe is a powerful exclamation of deep grief, of anguish, of distress, often used as a divine declaration of impending judgment, calamity, or condemnation against sin, particularly hypocrite, injustice, and rebellion against God. And the injustice here is trying to take someone else's stuff knowing it's not yours, demanding that they give it to you. All right, verse 2. And here's the point. And they covered fields and take them by violence. See, they covering Venezuela land. They ready to take it by violence. In houses, and they take them away. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take away the Venezuelan oil, their land, their assets, and they don't mind using violence to do so. That's what the blockade is. And remember when we read, it said Trump in the U.S. is ready to bomb Venezuela if they have to. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to oppress Venezuela. But like I said, and this is leading to a conflict the United States really can't really handle. Because if they get too bad, guess what? You got Russia and BRICS that's going to step in. Because they're two great BRICS nations that use that Venezuelan oil. So why would they let someone they're buying from cheaply at that, as the article said, cheaply at that, go to waste? No, you don't let that asset fall. You back it and you support it. You stand by it. But the point here is it shows you the greed of Babylon the Great, which is America. How they ready to take Venezuela rights to mineral rights by violence, even if they have to. All right, I'm gonna go here. Habakkuk 2 verses 4. The point is in all is good. Salaki. Habakkuk 2 starting at verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not right in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yeah, the soul in these Edomites is not right because they always want more. They can't help themselves. That's how they were created. I mean, think about all the stuff that America says has. Do it really need the oil and land and the other rights from Venezuela? No. But because they want them and they feel like they should have them, hey, they're going to use any means to get them. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Yeah, by his policies. And what's one of his policies? Hey, we're going to start this blockade. And if you don't give us the your oil rights and your land rights, we're just going to blockade you, stop all your oil shipments from leaving, which is the main export of Venezuela. Then we're just going to bomb you. So through his unrighteous decrees, through his policies, it's transgressing against Venezuela, who really haven't done nothing to Babylon the Great. He is a proud man, neither a keeper at home. Yeah. Babylon always worrying about other people's business, worrying about how things are working in their country. And when they find something they want, like this oil, because that's mainly what it's about, then guess what? They go to snooping their nose up in it. They never worry about what's going on here. Who enlarges his desire as hell and is at death and cannot be satisfied. Yeah. Like I said, Babylon doesn't need this oil, but they desire it so much, they don't mind killing for it. But ultimately, this desire would lead them to hell. It would lead them to their destruction. But gathers unto himself all nations, and heaping unto himself all people. Shall not these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his? Yeah. And we just see. We looked up the word woe. It means distress. So it's going to be a great distress to Babylon the Great, trying to take the Venezuelan oil for themselves. Because this would be one of the things, Lord willing, that would lead to World War III. How long, question mark? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. With that thick clay going to debt. But the point here is woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And that's Babylon the Great. That oil is not theirs. It doesn't belong to them. That land doesn't even belong to them. But guess what? They're still trying to make it theirs. They're still trying to take it by force, by violence, which shows you the pride of this man to think if you don't give me what I want, I'll just end up taking it. All right, we're going to go here. Psalm 73, verse 6 and 7. Therefore, pride compassing him about as a chain. See? It's like he's wrapped up in pride. Think about how powerful it is to tell someone, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to come take it. Not only that, but says it was ours from the beginning. That's really how he's trying to put it. Like, that really belonged to us. And y'all stole it from us, so we just taking it back. The lies, man, but also the pride. What kind of pride do you have to try to say someone else's stuff is yours when it never was? Therefore, pride compassing him about as chain, violence covered him as a garment. And we see that the United States are ready to drop bombs on Venezuela for their oil, Salaki, and for them land rights. They're ready to bring all type of hell through their military power if Venezuela don't cooperate. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. Yeah. America had way more than most countries could wish. But guess what? Their eyes are with fatness, meaning they have to have more. That greed. They can't help themselves. But that greed would ultimately lead to their ultimate destruction. Because they're always trying to increase things that's not them. They're always turning other nations against them. And it's not just the BRICS, but their own other nations that they don't put sanctions and tariffs and other things like that upon. It's like walking into a crowd of people and just pushing everybody and daring everybody to hit you. What you think gonna happen? Yeah, it might be some who too afraid, but it ain't gonna be a few out that group who gonna be ready to put hands and feet on you. That's why this place has to go. That's why it got to be destroyed. And it's going to be Yahweh Bashim Haushai that's going to make sure that happens. Because this place represents all the things that Yahweh Bashim Haushai find appalling, find abominable, that need to be destroyed. And we're going to end out there. It's Proverbs 6, starting at 16. These 16 do Yahweh Bashim Haushai hate. Yea, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, and that's definitely Babylon the Great. There's no other place that's more prouder than this place. A lying tongue, which lies to everyone. Come, join the American dream. Everything will be okay. Just come here. Lying to the people, and this is a whole damn nightmare. And hands that shed innocent blood, which we seen Trump been blowing up those Venezuelan boats, claiming that they have drug traffickers on them, but then they come out and it was just fishing boats. Them people ain't have nothing to do with nothing. Now, we also know the scripture said no one dies being innocent. But the point of the matter is, they're blowing them people up and lying on them, saying that they was drug traffickers, which they had nothing to do with that. They just out there trying to fish, survive, and make a living for their family. A heart that devises wicked imagination. What's the wicked imagination? Making someone give you their oil rights and their land and your assets, and saying that they about to give it to you. Then trying to point them out from being wicked or being the devil or being evil when you know it's you. Feet that swift to run the mischief. Which, that's like I said, that's why they're coming against Venezuela. Just being mischievous. They don't need the Venezuelan oil. but they feel like they got to take it. And as we looked up, they take that all, man. It hurts two of the major BRICS nations. A false witness that speaketh lies. And we're seeing that with Trump saying they took it from us and we're gonna take it back. They ain't took nothing from you. That belonged to them people over there. But that shows you his pride and his greed, that he feel like whatever he see, America should already have, and it belongs to him. And he that sowed discord among the brethren. These 16 do Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi hate. And these 16, to me, personify the mentality of Babylon the Great. And just like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi hate these things, and they are abomination unto him, well, these 7, and they are abomination unto him, hey, this place is going to have to be destroyed for that wickedness, for that abomination. But that's all I had on this. I hope this lesson will edify. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Shalom.